Good morning, beautiful souls and brave humans. Today is week 4. Welcome back to the Sunday morning 7 a.m. club. Today we're talking about something a little delicate, a little iconic, but culturally sacred, but also culturally toxic, right? We're talking about New Year's resolutions because they are coming for you very fast, right? And not in the let's make better ones way. Nope, we're not talking about that. Today we're talking about staging a full-on rebellion because every January the world tells you fix yourself, shrink yourself, discipline yourself, become a new you, do better, be better, try harder, you name it. And honestly, I'm over it. We're over it. And deep down, you're over it too, because today's session is called the anti-resolution revolution, right? I want you to stop abandoning yourself every January, right? Because you don't need a new you. You don't need a rigid plan, and you don't even need pressure disguised as self-improvement. You need support. You need self-trust. You need alignment. You need presence. You need compassion. And most of all, you need to stop leaving yourself behind every time a new year rolls in. How we start our Sunday sets the tone for our entire week. So welcome to the Sunday Morning Club, the show dedicated to intentional living and personal growth. I'm Faye Chappell, and on behalf of all of us here at Elevated Living, I invite you to take this time for yourself to find your center and fill up your cup. I'm so glad you're here. Today we're going to talk about that. We're going to identify where you've abandoned yourself in past Januaries, because you know you have. And I want you to reclaim your actual desires, not the ones that culture handed us, right? I want you to really think about how you can look at your future self, and I want you to do everything possible along the way. You know, we run a life map challenge every January, and it is not about forgetting who you are. It's about recognizing where you are, what your dreams are, and how to focus and get there, and not saying that you're not good enough. That's not what we're doing, because resolutions fail because essentially they're built on a lie, right? And that lie is you're not enough as you are, right? Resolutions fail because they're built on a lie. And the lie is you're not enough as you are. And when the starting point is self-rejection, the outcome is almost always burnout, shame, self-criticism, quitting, pretending, or just going numb and not doing anything. Resolutions don't fail because you're inconsistent. They fail because they're rooted in pressure, right? Not in identity. And that's the mistake most people make. Sustainable growth, well, that feels good, right? That's the kind that lasts. Only happens when you grow from self-acceptance and not anything else. So you don't change because you hate yourself. You change because you love who you're becoming. So today is about reclaiming that, okay? This is one of my favorite quotes, and I want you to take it because it hits hard. You cannot hate yourself into a version you love. You cannot hate yourself into a version you love. So today we're going to try to use that as your compass, right? So let's start with a little journaling. Grab your books, and we're going to talk a little bit about self-loyalty inventory. Let's talk about calculating something. So I want you to open your journal. Today we're going to tell the truth about your relationship with yourself, not the shame, right? We're not going to shame you. We want to reclaim it. So I want you to write these prompts down, okay? So number one, where have I abandoned myself in past Januaries? Think about it. Were they extreme goals, self-punishment, like unrealistic expectations? Like, for example, you said, you know, starting January 1, I'm going to exercise 1 hour a day, and in 90 days, I'm going to lose, 50 pounds. Like, that's self-punishment. Those are extreme goals. Like, how are you going to actually live those goals? So what have you done in the past that you really abandoned who you were because you set up these, brand new things, and you know you can't do it, but you did it. You wrote them down anyway. Okay? That's number one. Number two, which past versions of me deserve tenderness instead of criticism, right? When was there a time when you made some resolutions and you realized you really needed to just be kind to yourself instead of criticizing, right? January is always a big one about people wanting to change their body and losing weight. And instead of being kind about it, you would criticize yourself and you would say, I'm too fat, I'm not good, I'm not healthy, I can't do this. Instead of giving yourself a little compassion and saying, you know what, I'm not in my best physical shape, and I am going to learn how to treat my body better so I am, and do it with tenderness instead of criticism. So really think about what past versions of you deserved a little more tenderness, a little more kindness when you actually set up your Januaries, okay? And then number three, I want you to really think about, what do I actually want this year? Not what I'm told to want. What do you really want this year? And a lot of us, when somebody asks that question, what do you want this year? A lot of us jump to the usual, well, oh, I need to be really successful and I need to start my career, speaking, or I need to find a new job. But I'm asking you what you really want. What do you actually want? Not what you think you're supposed to want. What do you actually want? Maybe you want a smaller job. Maybe you don't really need to make a ton of money. You just want enough to pay your bills. What do you actually want? It could be big. It could be small. It doesn't matter. It's what do you want, not what are you told to want. So take a few minutes, write all these down. Remember, stop the record. I always going to go say stop the tape, but anyone younger doesn't understand what that means. And question number 4, what would sustainable change feel like in your body? You could change, and I don't mean changing your body. If you could change anything that you want and you could sustain it, how would that feel in your body? You would probably feel better, healthier, be able to do more, have more energy. Whatever it is, I want you to be honest, because honesty is important, right? Honesty is important here. So do the work, take a deep breath, really think about it. Stop the recording if you want to answer those questions now. And if you are ready, I want you to get comfortable and close your eyes for me. I want you to gently rest your hands in your lap. Really simple. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and let your shoulders drop. Got that? One more time. Inhale. And let your shoulders drop. Now, imagine yourself walking down a glowing path, right? Imagine it. And at the end of the path is a version of you 1 year from now. Not a skinnier you, not a more productive you, not a fixed you, just a truer you. Somebody who is grounded, who's calm, who's consistent, who's self-loyal, right? Who's supported, who feels whole, right? That's the person I want you to see, and I want you to approach them. I want you to see their face. I want you to notice their posture. And I want you to feel their presence, because this future self is not a fantasy. They are the result of self-trust, not self-punishment. So I want you to ask them, what did you stop doing to become this version of me? What did you stop doing to become this version of me? Listen for the answer, and then I want you to ask the next question. What did you start doing? What did you start doing? And I want you to listen. Now imagine this future self stepping towards you and merging into you. Your bodies overlap. Your Their steadiness becomes your steadiness, okay? Their clarity becomes your clarity. Their peace becomes your peace. And I want you to whisper silently to yourself, I don't abandon myself anymore. I don't abandon myself anymore. I want you to take a deep breath, and when you're ready, I want you to open your eyes. How does that feel? It feels achievable because what you're looking for is your true self, not some fancy goal that you're trying to work out. So I want you to learn how to be consistent with yourself. So let's do a little bit of consistency breath work, okay? This breath is really about rhythm, right? Which is the opposite of New Year intensity, right? So it's called steady momentum breath. So I want you to inhale for 4, and I want you to hold for 2. I want you to exhale for 4, and then I want you to hold for 2. Very simple, very steady. And this pattern really will teach your body that you can move without rushing. You can grow without forcing. And you can change without pressure. Okay? So it'll help you feel that steadiness settling in. So as we inhale for 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, holding 1, 2, exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, hold 1, 2. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, hold 1, 2. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, hold 1, 2. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, hold 1, 2. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, hold 4. This is a steadiness. It's a consistent breath. This will make you feel consistent throughout everything you do. And so when you're doing this, I want you to think about as well moving into the same type of thing for movement, because movement flow should be simple and grounding and meant to feel like you're returning home, right? We're teaching ourselves how to be truer to ourselves. So you can do, for example, sun breaths are very simple. You're just going to inhale and reach up. And as you exhale, you're going to sweep down. Very slowly inhaling up and exhaling down, right? Very simple, very consistent breathing in and out. You'll start to feel very consistent and a truer sense of yourself. Next, we'll move into shoulder rolls. So we're going to release our old weight. We're going to release our pressure. We're going to release any expectations. So shoulder rolls are real simple. We're going to go backwards, relieving all that pressure, or we can go forward. I prefer back, but you do what feels better for you. We're releasing everything that's been weighing down, all the pressures, any old expectations, okay? And then, of course, we always do twists. Why do we do twists? Because we want to really clear that debris. Remember last week we talked about clearing the debris with twists. So we're clearing essentially the debris so we can create a path for new alignment. So you're just going to gently twist to each side. And the other. And you're going to do this as many times as you feel necessary. Sometimes as we twist, you can actually feel a little bit of cracking, right? And that's really, I love to hear that because I feel like when I'm cracking, you're releasing that tension, you're releasing that pressure, releasing new, old expectations, you're making room, right? And you can continue doing these twists because, again, you're clearing your path for a new alignment. Remember that heart opening stretch we did last week? So I just want you to lift your chest gently and just say, I am worthy of gentle growth, right? Just releasing and up, opening your heart, opening your chest, allowing yourself room and expansion for growth. The best thing you can do, there's a lot of, you can do yoga, Pilates, you can do meditations. There's so much you can do. Best thing you can do is just gentle movements is where you start. You don't need to do a 1-hour class. You just need to move your body you've been sitting on the couch watching TV for the last couple months, I want you to just sit on the ground or sit in your chair and just move, gentle movements, just releasing your arms, reaching up. Anything you can do to stretch and allow yourself to open, right? And simple things like a mountain pose. If you're standing, you feel your feet rooted, right? And your hands are at your heart or at your side, right? And you feel yourself belonging to that moment. You're steady, you're grounded, you're a mountain. That's why it's a mountain pose. You can sit and do exactly the same. So for those of you who aren't able to stand or you have some physical disabilities, it's okay. You can do this. You can feel the same way, grounded in your seat as you can as you stand. So this week's all about consistency, right? And think about your snacking being consistent too this week. So a nourishment ritual that's really simple but powerful is really just doing a consistency snack, right? So maybe within 30 minutes of waking, give your body something to fuel it. I like to make sure there's a little bit of protein, a little bit of fat, and a little bit of fiber in any snack that you give it. And it could be like Greek yogurt with berries and chia seeds, or egg and avocado, or nuts and fruit, or oats with almond butter. Why? Because stable blood sugar equals stable mood, which equals stable follow through. So there's nothing wrong with intermittent fasting if you've been doing it and it's working for you. But if you find that if you do it and you wake up in the morning and your mood is not good, that means your body needs to have some type of stable blood sugar. So whatever that is for you, but don't go grab an Eggo waffle, right? Your brain can't practice self-trust if your glucose is on a roller coaster, right? You need to be consistent in order for your body and your mind and your spirit to stay consistent throughout the year, throughout the day. So you need to do all of these things. So if you are feeling a little unstable, if you're feeling a little like down, have a healthy snack, a consistency snack is what I like to call it, to make sure that you maintain that good mood, that good health, right? Snacks are good for you. There's nothing wrong with them. The problem most people face is that they, I'm going to skip breakfast or I'm going to skip lunch so I can lose some weight. And then what happens? You get to a point where you're so hungry, you eat anything, right? Anything. You'll grab a chocolate bar or some cookies or whatever. But if you maintain a stable level, you'll end up being the better for it. So this week's challenge, really simple. I want you to choose one act of self-loyalty, right? Each day. So not self-improvement, not discipline, not pressure, certainly not perfection, right? Just self-loyalty. And this is what I mean. I want you to ask yourself, what would someone who doesn't abandon themselves choose right now? And choose that. Think about it. What would someone who wants to stay true to themselves and not abandon themselves, what would they choose to do right now? So think about the snack, right? What would somebody wanting to stay true to themselves choose? They would choose something healthy. I will choose that now as well. Let this be the year that you stay with yourself. Not completely overhaul yourself. Just stay with yourself. So, thank you for joining me today. Thank you for being here. You are your own revolution. I hope you see that. We are moving into a new year with a profound understanding of who we are and where we would like to go and what we'd like to do without losing who we are. And with that, our time together comes to a close. Thank you for showing up for yourself today. Take that feeling of this space with you and let it guide your actions and reactions this week. I'm Faye Chappell. On behalf of everyone here at Elevated Living, I'm wishing you a week of profound peace and clarity. This episode was